Hey, what's up guys? This is Frank with Bodybuilding Bros. Got some training footage here from the week of October 25th. As I went over in my last video, starting to implement some variations to the main lifts. So this is on my first day, which is a push day, hitting the safety bar squat. Still kind of trying to figure out what is the best weight for me to use on this movement. Obviously, when you're starting a newer movement, there's going to be some neurological adaptations that need to take place before you can really start progressing and building true strength and muscle from the movement. So I think I'm still kind of in that phase, trying to figure out the movement patterns and all that. So this is 243 pounds. Just going to be doing 3x8s here until I can really get to the point where I know the weight I'm using is true to my strength. So it's going to take a couple weeks probably until I can get to that point. I'm just going to continue to add weight linearly until I really can't anymore, I guess. I'm hoping to keep up with this training series just to kind of show you guys my main lifts. I know a lot of the accessory work kind of gets boring to watch, but definitely going to keep up with the progression videos on these lifts for now. So here is the second movement that I do on my push day. Right now I'm just doing the board press using two boards on I'm not sure how many inches they are, but someone had made them and leaves it at the gym. So two boards kind of keeps it off my chest a little bit. I think this is a weak point that I have that I'll really benefit from doing this movement. Once again, really trying to figure out the weight that I need to use to do a solid 3x8 here. So started off with my first set at 215, and that was probably a little bit too light. Trying to keep everything other than the board on my chest the same as my competition style bench press when I'm thinking about the movement. So I moved up for my last two sets to 225 and was able to get 2 more sets of 8. So moving forward, I'll probably still add another 5 or 10 pounds to this until I find a weight that is challenging enough for me, because this still moved a little bit easier than I would like it to. Trying to hit really RPE 8s or 9s on these movements, at least on the on my final set. Definitely want to hit that RPE 9. Let me know if you guys can think of like a name for the training series for this. I'm trying to think of something that I can make it kind of its own progression series, and I'll do other videos obviously separately, but I'd like to be able to keep up with this just to document for myself and to show you guys how I'm progressing on each of the lifts here. So this is a deficit deadlift. This weight I think is actually pretty good for me. For a 3x7, this is 375 pounds. My max on a conventional deadlift, or what I hit at the meet a couple weeks ago, was 540 pounds. So that gives you kind of reference to where my strength is at on a pull from the floor. So these felt really good. I've really been liking the deficit deadlifts. I feel like I can really feel my back just trying to maintain that neutral position. And it seems like it takes forever to get to the point where you start your lockout with the hips coming through. But I've really been liking these so far, and like I said, this weight is actually pretty good here. So might be able to progress a little bit more linearly, but after that I'll probably have to start implementing some different progression reps and set ranges and all that. So still working with Harry for my programming. He's been doing my training since April or so, I think, and basically a DUP style. So this is a pull day. So I did push where I squat and bench on my first day of the week. Second day of the week is a pull day, and then my last 2 days of the week are lower and upper. So those will be coming up. Also still just trying to get back into the higher volume. When you're peaking for a meet, you kind of minimize the volume and just increase the intensity, obviously, because you want to prepare for the competition lift, which is just a 1 rep max essentially. So still been trying to adapt to this higher volume training, and my body is definitely paying for it, especially after this lower body day here. My glutes, my low back, pretty much everything, my quads, hamstrings, even my calves were really sore for several days afterwards. So these are my competition style lifts now for the last 2 days of the week. This is just my competition style back squat, working with 78% of my 1 rep max, so 331 pounds, using 425 as my current max based off of what I hit at the powerlifting meet at Raw Nationals. So 4x5 here. I usually like to stay beltless if I can when I'm using under 80%, and I was able to get all 4 sets of 5 here beltless. But like I said, my low back was pretty destroyed for a few days after this day, plus hitting deadlifts right after these squats is kind of rough. So I was pretty happy with the way these squats felt today. Just trying to adapt, like I said, to the higher volume. Wasn't able to film my deadlifts. The gym was so packed, probably the most crowded I've ever seen it. But just a 4x4 at 80%, using 540 pounds as my max. So then moving on finally to just the competition style bench press. Same sets and reps here as on the back squat, so 78% for a 4x5. Seems like when I bench it, if I use the same percentage, feels a little bit easier than that percentage on squats. I'm not sure if that's normal or if you guys feel the same way. If you've ever noticed that, let me know. But yeah, so this is a 4x5 with bench press, probably the lift that I'm most frustrated with at this point. Really need to start making some progress there. I'm hoping that doing the board press and just overall spending some time building up some work capacity and some higher volume. Obviously going to need to probably gain a little bit of weight and some more muscle mass, especially my chest, to help with that here. So that's it for this week's training for the main lifts. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment with some suggestions maybe of what you'd like to see from this series. And thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.